Hi, and welcome to this week's The Mortgage Broker broadcast. I'm your host, Craig Skelton. I'm a mortgage business owner, mentor, and coach, and I'm here to help self employed brokers and business owners build the business that they want. This is the podcast that's made for mortgage brokers at every single level, whether or you're running your own mortgage broker firm or you focus on growing and scaling your existing business. This podcast is about helping you grow your business, sharpen your mindset, and deal with the day to day challenges of being self employed. And this week, we're continuing our AI mini series with one of the most powerful skills you can learn when using tools like ChatGPT, and that is how to write better prompts. Because ChatGPT or and other AI isn't magic, then it's not a mind reader. What you get out is directly linked to what you put in. And while many brokers are giving it a go and using AI, which is just amazing, most aren't getting great results because their prompts are either too vague or too short. So today I'm going to share some simple, repeatable ways to structure your prompts that will get you much better and more usable outputs from AI. And before we get into the podcast, just a quick reminder on Thursday, the 3rd of July, yes, it is a Thursday, the 3rd of July, 6 p.m. Jonathan Needham and I are hosting a free live webinar through the Broker Foundry called Foundations to Freedom. So, whether you're considering going self employed or you already have taken that step and want more structure and support, this webinar is for you. We'll cover what it really takes to succeed as a self employed mortgage broker, the common traps to avoid, and how to build the business that actually works for you and that actually works for your life. So, you can register using the link in the show notes or just drop me a message and I'll send you the details. And as always, if you're enjoying this podcast, please just take a moment to give us a like, follow, leave a review. It helps more brokers discover the show and supports what I do. So let's just get into the podcast. The first bit I wanted to talk about and wanted to cover is why prompt writing is so important. Because prompt writing is one of those skills that can dramatically shift how effective AI is in your business. Think of ChatGPT like a brand new administrator or assistant that you've just taken on. They're very eager, they're very green, they're quick and capable, but they don't know your style, they don't know your culture, they don't know your business, your clients, your tone, or your goals. And you wouldn't just say to them something like, can you write me some content about mortgages and expect perfection from the start? No, you wouldn't do that. You give that administrator or that assistant a brief, you'd explain the audience, the format, the purpose. And that's the same with ChatGPT. The better your input, the better the output. And this matters because it just saves time. It avoids the frustration of going backwards and forwards all the time. And most importantly, it helps ensure that your content still sounds like you because at the end of the day, your personal brand, your reputation, and the way you speak to clients matters. So, what makes a good prompt? Well, let me just break it down into a simple formula that you can follow every single time. Tone. A good prompt has four ingredients, and the first one is role. You need to tell ChatGPT who it is acting as. For example, you're an experienced mortgage broker who communicates clearly and with a friendly tone. So, why is that important? Why does it help? Well, it immediately frames the language and style that ChatGPT should adopt. And then the second thing is the task. You need to be direct about what you want it to do. So, write a short blog post about the benefits of using a mortgage broker over going direct to a lender. So you avoid wishy-washy stuff of asking things like write me something or talk about mortgages. And the third thing is tone. You need to be intentional with your style. So for example, use a confident but down to earth tone. Keep it simple and relatable. You can also include things like professional, casual, humorous if you want to, inspirational, things like that. You can also include those in terms of your prompt with setting the tone. And then that moves on to the last thing, which is about context. You need to add background. Who is this for? What platform? What situation? So, for example, you could say this post is for first time buyers aged 25 to 35 who are nervous about applying for a mortgage and don't know what a broker actually does. So, that gives you your context. So, that's the four things I've talked about, they're the four things, the four ingredients. You've got role, you've got task, you've got tone, and then the last one is text. So let's just bring that all together. So adding those four ingredients to a prompt, you would say you are an experienced mortgage broker who communicates clearly and with a friendly tone. I need you to write me a short blog post about the benefits of using a broker over going direct to a lender. Use a confident but down to earth tone. And this post is for first time buyers aged 25 to 35 who are nervous about applying for a mortgage and don't know what a broker actually does. So now we've looked at the ingredients, let's look at some real life prompt examples. Things that you can use this week, and just give it a go this week. Just use ChatGPT. Think about a task that you don't want to do. Think about a task that you hate doing or that you procrastinated on for some time, and just use that. Create the prompt, use the ingredient, and see what it does for you. So let me give you some examples that you can use and try this week. Example one could be a follow-up email after a first appointment. So the prompt would be, you're a mortgage broker, write a friendly follow-up email to a couple who have just had their first appointment, remind them to upload their documents and confirm the next steps. Keep it professional but very warm. Or the next example could be about a social media post for self-employed clients. So you're a mortgage broker who works with self-employed clients. Write a LinkedIn post explaining how income is assessed for limited company directors applying for a mortgage. Make it 150 words, easy to understand and suitable for first timers. Or you need to do a video script for your website. You are a create you are creating a short, explain a video script for your homepage, introduce who you help, how you work, and why you should use some and why someone should choose you. Use a friendly and personal tone and keep it under 60 seconds. They're just a few examples of prompts that you could use. So let's move on to some prompt writing mistakes to avoid. Even with the formula, there are a few traps with prompt writing to avoid. The first thing is too short. One sentence prompts leads to vague answers, so be clear and detailed. Also, as well, avoid having no direction. So if you don't give tone or audience, ChatGPT will just default to generic, and you just don't want that. And then also, as well, not refining. You need to make sure that use the first draft as a starting point and build from there. Ask for a few tweaks. So you could example of that could be you could make this sound more like me and add a bit more energy. So don't forget to tweak. Don't just use the first thing that Chat GPT gets you, because don't and also as well, don't skip on your own input. That's also something to avoid. Don't forget to inject your own voice, your own stories or examples when you're finalizing the output. So we've done the ingredients, we've talked about things to avoid when you prompt, but so the last thing I want to talk about is building your own prompt templates, because once you've found prompts that work for you, just save them. You can build your own prompt library. So you could have one for email templates, one for social posts, one for newsletter introductions, one for blog outlines. And then over time, you'll have a bank of go-to prompts that you can tweak and reuse time after time. And then just save them in a Google Doc or whatever notes app or whatever works for you. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you save them, because that way you're not starting from scratch every single time. So last thing I want to do is just talk about a challenge for you, because I really do want to encourage you just to embrace AI and just start to use it this week. So one thing you could do is craft one high quality prompt using the four-part structure of role, task, tone, and context. Just do that this week. Use it to create something real in your business. Something that you don't like doing might be a post, an email, even a video script. But just make sure it's done something that will help you out, something you've been putting off for a while, something you've been procrastinating on. And then just sort of take a step with it this week, and then just use ChatGPT to create something real in your business, whatever that looks like. And then once you've done that, take it a step further, because what you then can do is ask GPT to give you two variations and then just see what it comes up with and test what works. And if you do this, let me know how you get on. Just send me a message, tag me on LinkedIn. I really want to hear from and see how it's working for you. So that's it. That's this week's The Mortgage Broker broadcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, please like it, please share, leave a review. It just really helps more brokers discover the show. And if you are thinking about becoming a self employed mortgage broker or launching your own brand and business, or you're ready to take your existing business to the next level, go to my website, craigskelton.co.uk, book a discovery call, or simply get in touch and let's just have a chat about how I can help you reach your goals. And remember, as always, please don't forget to run your own race.